The dog's teeth sank into the attacker's arm seconds before the blade would have found my throat. I hit the snow-covered pavement outside my own house, the house I'd decorated for Christmas morning, the house my children had just barricaded me from, as chaos erupted around me. A man in black tactical gear cursed in Korean, and then he appeared, tall, devastatingly handsome, moving like controlled violence in an expensive coat. "Touch her again," the Korean man said in accented English, his voice a dark promise, "and I'll feed you to my dogs piece by piece." His eyes met mine as strong hands lifted me from the frozen ground, and something shifted in my chest, a crack in the numbness, a spark I thought my marriage had extinguished forever. I should have been terrified. Instead, I felt utterly, impossibly alive. Welcome to Soul and Soulmates, ladies. Please like, share, and subscribe. 2 hours earlier, I'd been Helena Ward, 50-year-old mother of two, standing in my kitchen preparing Christmas breakfast when my husband Marcus walked in with divorce papers and a smirk that said he'd been planning this moment for months. "Sign them," he said, sliding the documents across the counter I'd chosen, in the house I'd helped buy with my inheritance. Or this gets uglier. My son Brandon appeared in the doorway, 26 and cold-eyed. "Just sign, Mom. Dad's lawyer said you're entitled to nothing. That inheritance loophole he found means this house is his." "Brandon, this is my father's money that was deposited in a joint account," my daughter Simone interrupted, 26 and equally merciless. They were twins, and today they moved in perfect synchronized cruelty. "Which means Dad can claim it. His lawyer's really good." I stared at the children I'd raised, searching for any softness, finding none. "It's Christmas." "Sign the papers," Marcus repeated. "You've got 10 minutes to pack what you can carry. Everything else stays." The numbness that followed wasn't shock. It was the death of something. 27 years of marriage. 26 years of motherhood. Gone before I'd finished mixing pancake batter. I signed. They didn't even let me finish packing. Brandon grabbed my half-filled suitcase and threw it out the front door into the snow. "Time's up. You can't just. This is his house now." Simone actually smiled. "His new girlfriend is moving in tonight. You're not wanted here." The door slammed in my face. I stood on my own former porch, in my Christmas sweater and jeans, watching my suitcase spill clothes across the snow-covered lawn. My phone, my wallet, my coat, all inside. It was 3 degrees outside. I walked to the sidewalk in shock, my mind unable to process the speed of my life's collapse. This was Brookfield, an affluent Chicago suburb where people smiled over holiday decorations and nobody got thrown out of their house on Christmas morning. I made it half a block before I realized someone was following me. The first man appeared from behind a parked car. The second from a driveway. Both dressed in black, both moving with purpose. I ran. Not fast enough. A hand grabbed my arm, spinning me around. I saw the knife, saw my death in his cold eyes. And then, the dog. A massive black Doberman, appearing from nowhere, all muscle and fury and protective rage. Then the man, the Korean man, moving like deadly grace personified, incapacitating my attackers with efficiency that spoke of extensive training. "In the car," he ordered, accent wrapping around the English words like silk over steel. "Now." A black SUV idled at the curb, door already open. Self-preservation overrode questions. I ran. The interior was leather and warmth. The driver, another Korean man, younger, built like a tank, pulled away from the curb before my door fully closed. The man who'd saved me slid in beside me, phone already to his ear, speaking rapid Korean. Up close, he was devastating. Sharp cheekbones, intense dark eyes, black hair styled perfectly despite the violence he'd just committed. 40 maybe. Expensive suit under an even more expensive coat. The kind of handsome that made you forget how to breathe. He ended the call and turned those eyes on me. "You're bleeding." I touched my cheek, found blood from where I'd hit the pavement. "Ay fine." "You're in shock." He pulled a handkerchief from his pocket, an actual monogrammed handkerchief, and gently dabbed at the cut.
I'm Kwan Huinvu.
Those men work for someone who apparently wants you dead. Any idea why? I don't. I just got thrown out of my house. My husband, my children, my voice cracked. I don't know anything about men with knives. His jaw tightened, almost imperceptibly. Your husband's name? Marcus Ward. But he wouldn't. Address? I gave it, watching him text it to someone with swift, precise movements. You have somewhere safe to go? I almost laughed. I have nowhere to go. I don't even have my phone. Something flickered in his expression. Then you'll stay at my hotel until we determined the threat level. I can't. You can and you will. Not a suggestion. A statement. Those men weren't opportunistic criminals. They were professionals. You're not safe alone. The SUV turned into downtown Chicago, pulling up to the Peninsula Hotel. The driver, introduced tersely as Dae-young, opened my door. Hyun-woo's hand settled on the small of my back, proprietary and protective. I should have objected to the presumption. Instead, I leaned into the steadiness he offered. The hotel staff treated him like royalty. No check-in process, just immediate deference and a private elevator to the penthouse floor. His suite was stunning, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Michigan Avenue. Minimalist luxury, space that probably costs more per night than my monthly mortgage. Former mortgage. Sit, he directed, guiding me to a sofa. Dae-young, contact Jinwoo. I want backgrounds on Marcus Ward, his lawyer, his financial situation, everything. Also pull security footage from the Ward house, radius of 5 blocks. Dae-young nodded and disappeared into another room. Hyun-woo crouched before me, eye level, studying my face with an intensity that made my breath catch. The cut is superficial, but you're going into delayed shock. When did you last eat? This morning. I was making breakfast when. He stood, moved to the phone, ordered food in English peppered with Korean. Then he returned with a blanket, wrapping it around my shoulders despite the suite's perfect temperature. Why are you helping me? The question emerged quieter than intended. He settled into the chair across from me, elbows on his knees, still watching me with that unsettling focus. My dog likes you. Atlas has excellent instincts. Atlas? A slight smile, devastating in its rarity. The Doberman. He was tracking the men following you. When he saw you in danger, he intervened before I could reach you. He's never done that for a stranger. Where is he now? My other suite. He has his own room. Said, without irony. I'm in Chicago temporarily for business. Atlas accompanies me everywhere. What kind of business? The smile widened fractionally. The kind that makes men think twice before attacking women on public streets. Translation. Nothing legal. Everything about him screamed danger wrapped in expensive tailoring. The way his men deferred to him, the ease with which he neutralized trained attackers, the penthouse suite, the private security. I should have been afraid. Instead, I felt safer than I had in years. Room service arrived, soup, bread, tea, and somehow chocolate. Hyun-woo dismissed the server and personally set everything before me. Eat, he commanded gently. Then rest. Dae-young will have preliminary information within the hour. I can't pay you for any of this. His eyes darkened. I'm not asking you to, but eat, Helena. My name and his accent did something to my nervous system. We'll discuss everything else after you've recovered from today's trauma. I ate because my body demanded it, because his presence made me feel oddly cared for despite the circumstances, because I had no other plan. He watched me the entire time, silent and still, radiating controlled power. Dae-young returned as I finished. He spoke in Korean, and I watched Hyun-woo's expression harden into something coldly furious. What? I asked. What did he find? Hyun-woo's gaze returned to me, and I saw carefully leashed rage. Your husband took out a life insurance policy on you 6 months ago. $2 million. Your children are listed as beneficiaries. The soup turned to lead in my stomach.
No.
Marcus wouldn't. The men who attacked you are known associates of a fixer who specializes in making deaths look accidental. His voice remained calm, but his hands had curled into fists. Your husband hired them, Helena. He tried to have you killed on Christmas morning after ensuring you had no resources, no protection, nowhere to run. The words didn't make sense. Couldn't make sense. My children, I whispered. Brandon and Simone, they wouldn't. According to the policy, they inherit everything if you die. The house, the insurance, your husband's assets. Hyun-woo leaned forward. Did they know you'd be thrown out today? They helped him do it. His jaw clenched. Then they knew.
No.
Not my babies. Not the children I'd raised, nursed through illnesses, celebrated every milestone. But they'd smiled when they threw my suitcase in the snow. Simone had smiled. I'm going to be sick. Hyun-woo moved fast, guiding me to the bathroom, holding my hair back as I lost everything I'd just eaten. When the heaving stopped, he handed me a warm washcloth, gave me space to rinse my mouth, then led me back to the living area with a gentleness that contrasted sharply with the violence I'd seen him capable of. Lie down, he said, indicating a bedroom through an open door. You need rest. I can't sleep. Then lie down and don't sleep. He guided me into a bedroom that rivaled luxury hotel advertisements. Massive bed, soft lighting, blackout curtains. I'll be right outside. You're safe here. Why do you care? The question escaped before I could stop it. You don't know me. He paused in the doorway, silhouetted against the light from the living room, and something in his expression shifted, softened, and intensified simultaneously. I don't know, he admitted quietly. But I do. Sleep, Helena. The door closed. I lay on top of the covers, fully clothed, staring at the ceiling as my life replayed in fractured pieces. 27 years with Marcus. His proposal. Our wedding. The births of our twins. Every anniversary, every vacation, every mundane moment. Had any of it been real? When had he stopped loving me? When had my children learned to hate me? When had I become worth more dead than alive? The tears came silently, soaking the expensive pillow, grief and betrayal and shock finally breaking through the numbness. I must have slept eventually because I woke to darkness and the scent of something cooking. The bedside clock read 6:47 p.m. I'd lost most of Christmas. I found Hyun-woo in the sweets kitchen, cooking. Actually cooking, not ordering room service. He'd removed his jacket and tie, rolled up his sleeves, and looked oddly domestic, stirring something that smelled incredible. You cook, I said from the doorway. He glanced over, and his expression did something complicated when he saw me. You're awake. How do you feel? Like my life ended. It didn't end. It changed. He returned to his cooking. Korean comfort food. My mother's recipe for mayakguk, seaweed soup. It won't fix anything, but it helps. I moved closer, drawn by the warmth and the unexpected intimacy of watching this dangerous man cook soup in a hotel kitchen. Where did you get the ingredients? I had Dae-young acquire them. He ladled soup into a bowl, handed it to me.
Eat.
It was delicious, savory and rich, and exactly what my battered soul needed. He made himself a bowl and joined me at the counter, and we ate in surprisingly comfortable silence. Tell me about your parents, he said eventually. The shift in subject was deliberate, offering escape from the day's horror. I took it. They're in Iowa. Dad worked construction his whole life. Mom was a seamstress. They didn't have much, but they loved me fiercely. I smiled despite everything. They're going to be devastated when they find out about Marcus. Call them. I don't have my phone. He slid his across the counter. Use mine. It's Christmas night. They'll worry if... Helena. His voice gentled. Call your parents.
So I did.
Mom answered on the second ring, voice bright with holiday cheer that cracked when she heard me crying. I gave her the simplified version. Marcus wanted a divorce. Things got ugly. I was staying with a friend in Chicago until I figured things out. I didn't mention the murder attempt. Didn't mention that their daughter's husband had tried to have her killed for insurance money. Come home, Mom said immediately. Come to us, baby. You're always welcome here. I will soon. I promise. I love you. We love you more. I ended the call, handed Hyunwoo his phone back, and promptly burst into tears again. He moved around the counter without hesitation, pulling me into his arms, and I collapsed against his chest. He was solid and warm and steady, and he didn't offer empty platitudes. He just held me while I soaked his expensive shirt with tears. I raised them. I choked out. I gave them everything. How could they help him try to kill me? His arms tightened. Some people are born broken. It's not your fault. I should have seen it. Should have known Marcus was. Stop. He pulled back enough to tilt my face up with gentle fingers. You loved them. That's not a weakness. They betrayed that love. That's their failure, not yours. His eyes were so dark, so intense, and we were too close. I should have stepped back. Instead, I let myself lean into the comfort he offered, into the strength radiating from him. Thank you, I whispered, for saving me, for this, for everything. Something flickered in his expression, heat and possession, and something almost tender. You don't need to thank me.
Ida.
You're a stranger. Who? I'm not a stranger anymore. His thumb brushed my cheek, wiping away tears. And you're under my protection now. Anyone who tries to hurt you will regret it. The promise in his voice sent shivers down my spine. Not fear. Something else entirely. The next morning, I woke to find clothes laid out on the bedroom chair, designer jeans in my size, a cashmere sweater, undergarments still in packaging, even shoes. Everything fit perfectly. I found Hyunwoo in the living room, working on a laptop, Atlas sprawled at his feet. The Doberman lifted his head when I entered, tail wagging. He likes you, Hyunwoo observed, closing the laptop. Come here, Atlas. The dog trotted over to me, and I knelt to pet him, grateful for the uncomplicated affection. How did you know my sizes? I asked, gesturing to the clothes. I'm observant. He stood, moved to the windows overlooking the city. We need to discuss your situation. I joined him, Atlas following to lean against my leg. What situation besides my entire life being destroyed? His mouth twitched. Your husband has realized his hired killers failed. He's already filed police reports claiming you're mentally unstable and stole money from joint accounts. He's building a narrative to explain your eventual death as suicide or an accident caused by your supposed breakdown. Nausea returned. He's really going to keep trying. Yes. Hyunwoo turned to face me fully. Which is why you have two options. 1. Go to your parents in Iowa and I'll arrange private security until Marcus is handled legally. 2. Stay here under my protection while we dismantle his plans and ensure he never threatens you again. Handled legally meaning? I have lawyers who excel at destroying men like your husband. They'll freeze his assets, expose the murder-for-hire plot, ensure he spends decades in prison. His eyes darkened. I also have other methods if you prefer something more permanent. He meant it. This man would kill Marcus if I asked. I don't want him dead, I said slowly. I want him destroyed. I want my children to know what they almost helped him do. I want them to live with that knowledge. His smile was sharp and approving. Then we'll destroy him properly. Why? I asked again. Why are you doing this? You said yourself you don't know why you care. He stepped closer, and the air between us thickened. I told you, Atlas likes you. That's not a reason. No, he agreed quietly. It's not. He didn't elaborate, and I didn't push. Not yet. That afternoon, Hyunwoo's lawyers arrived. 3 sharp-eyed Korean men who treated me with surprising respect and Hyunwoo with absolute deference. They explained the plan in detail, File for emergency protective orders. Expose the insurance policy and murder plot through anonymous tips to law enforcement. Freeze Marcus's assets through civil litigation. Destroy his credibility systematically. It will take time, the lead lawyer said, but we'll ensure he loses everything: freedom, money, reputation, his children's respect. How long? 3 to 6 months for the criminal case to build. We'll need your testimony, but we'll keep you safe throughout. I signed the paperwork, giving them permission to act on my behalf. When they left, Hyunwoo poured me wine and ordered dinner. You did well. I let my husband plan my murder without noticing. I don't think well applies. You survived. You're fighting back. That's doing well. He settled beside me on the sofa, closer than necessary. Tell me something about yourself that has nothing to do with your husband or children. The request surprised me. Like what? Anything. Your favorite color. What you wanted to be when you were young. What makes you laugh? I thought about it, realizing I couldn't remember the last time someone had asked about me. Just me, separate from my roles as wife and mother. I wanted to be a dancer, I admitted.
Ballet.
I was actually pretty good in high school, but I gave it up when I got pregnant with the twins. You gave up your dream for them. I thought it was worth it. Bitterness crept into my voice. Turns out I was wrong. Do you still dance?
No.
I haven't in decades. He stood abruptly, moved to his phone, and suddenly classical music filled the suite. Tchaikovsky, Swan Lake. Dance now, he said simply. I can't. I don't remember. Then move. Let your body remember. He extended his hand. I won't judge you, Helena. I just want to see you do something for yourself. It was absurd. I was 50 out of practice, traumatized. But his hand was steady and his eyes were encouraging, and something in me wanted to please him. Wanted to be the woman who danced instead of the woman whose family tried to kill her. I took his hand. He pulled me to the open space near the windows, then stepped back, giving me room. I closed my eyes, let the music fill me, and moved. It was clumsy at first, muscles remembering movements they'd last performed 30 years ago. But gradually, something loosened in my chest, and I stopped thinking and just felt. The music, the freedom, the unexpected gift of this moment. When the piece ended, I opened my eyes to find Hyunwoo watching me with an expression that stole my breath. Hunger and admiration, and something fierce and possessive. Beautiful, he said, voice rough. You're beautiful. No one had called me beautiful in years. Marcus had stopped seeing me somewhere around my 40th birthday, his attention shifting to younger women, his compliments dying with his interest. But Hyunwoo looked at me like I was art, like I was worth looking at. Thank you, I managed. He closed the distance between us in 2 strides. Don't thank me for telling you the truth. We stood too close, the air electric with something I shouldn't acknowledge. He was dangerous and younger and completely wrong for me in every logical way. But my heart didn't care about logic. Neither apparently did his. His hand lifted to my face, thumb tracing my cheekbone with aching gentleness. I should let you rest. I'm not tired, Helena. My name was a warning and a prayer. I'm not a good man. I've done things that would horrify you. And right now, I want things I have no right to want. What things? His eyes darkened impossibly further.
You.
I want you in ways that are complicated and consuming and entirely inappropriate given your circumstances. I should have backed away. Should have reminded him I'd just escaped an attempted murder, that I was vulnerable and raw, and in no state to make decisions about wanting dangerous Korean men who cooked me soup and made me dance. Instead, I said, what if I want you back? His control cracked visibly. You don't know what you're saying. I'm 50 years old, Hyunwoo. I know exactly what I'm saying. My hand lifted to his chest, feeling his heart race under expensive fabric. You make me feel alive. For the first time in decades, I feel seen. That's not nothing. It's gratitude and trauma and attraction. I held his gaze. Tell me you don't feel it too. I feel it. The admission was rough. I've felt it since I saw you on that street, vulnerable and strong and so fucking beautiful it hurt to look at you. I've been fighting it because you deserve better than a criminal who solves problems with violence. Maybe I don't want better. Maybe I want real. He made a sound low in his throat, surrender and desperation. If I kiss you right now, I won't stop at kissing. Good. His mouth crashed into mine with controlled violence, and I ignited. His kiss was claiming and fierce and achingly thorough, demanding response, giving no quarter. I kissed him back with 27 years of neglect fueling my hunger, with newfound freedom making me fearless. He walked me backward until my back hit the window, cool glass contrasting with the heat of his body pressed against mine. His hands were everywhere, my face, my hair, my waist, touching me like he couldn't get enough. Tell me to stop, he growled against my mouth. Tell me this is too fast and I'll wait. I'll wait as long as you need. Don't stop, I gasped. Don't you dare stop. He lifted me effortlessly, my legs wrapping around his waist as he carried me toward the bedroom. Atlas, bless him, stayed in the living room. I woke wrapped around Hyunwoo like he was my personal furnace, sunlight streaming through gaps in the curtains. Every muscle ached in the best possible way. He was awake, watching me with an expression so tender it made my chest tight.
I whispered. I.
His fingers traced patterns on my bare shoulder. How do you feel?
Confused.
Satisfied.
Guilty.
Terrified.
Alive.
I pressed closer. Is that normal for the morning after sleeping with a Korean Mafia boss the day after my husband tried to have me killed? His chest rumbled with quiet laughter. I'm not Mafia. I'm a businessman with complicated interests. You have trained killers on speed dial, and your dog has his own suite. Fair points. He kissed my forehead. And yes, your feelings are normal. You're processing trauma while beginning something new. It's a lot. Are you always this emotionally intelligent? My mother raised me to respect women and understand that emotions aren't weakness. His hand cupped my face. What we did last night, I don't regret it. But if you do, tell me now. I don't regret it. I met his eyes. But I am scared. This is happening so fast and you're dangerous, criminal, wrong for you in every obvious way. I was going to say incredible, protective, and somehow exactly what I need right now. His expression softened impossibly. You're going to destroy me, Helena Ward. Is that a bad thing?
No.
He pulled me closer. It's the best thing. We stayed in bed for another hour, talking about nothing and everything. He told me about growing up in Seoul, about his mother's strength raising him alone after his father died, about building his empire through intelligence and calculated risks. I told him about small-town Iowa, about dreams deferred for family, about slowly losing myself in a marriage that had become a prison without my noticing. You're getting yourself back, he said firmly. Starting now. Later that morning, Dae-young knocked with news. Marcus had been arrested. Anonymous tips combined with security footage of the attack and financial records had given the police enough for murder for higher charges. He's trying to implicate your children, Dae-young reported. Claims they pressured him into it. My stomach dropped. Did they? Unknown. But they're being questioned. Hyunwoo's hand found mine. Whatever happens, you're not responsible for their choices. I nodded, numb again. My babies, former babies, might be accomplices to attempted murder. The next few days blurred together. Hyunwoo had work to do, legitimate business meetings mixed with his less legitimate enterprises, but he refused to leave me alone. I accompanied him to a real estate deal, watched him negotiate with cold precision, saw hardened businessmen defer to his authority. At night, he was different, soft and passionate, and surprisingly playful. He cooked for me, made me laugh, touched me like I was precious. I was falling for him with terrifying speed. A week after Christmas, my lawyer called with an update. Brandon and Simone were cooperating with prosecutors, claiming they'd had no idea about the murder plot. They'd known about the divorce and the insurance policy, but insisted Marcus had told them it was just standard financial planning. Do you believe them? Hyunwoo asked as I relayed the information. I don't know what I believe anymore.
He pulled me against his chest.
Then don't decide yet. Focus on healing. The truth will reveal itself eventually. That evening, we had dinner with his parents via video call, his mother in Seoul, warm and sharp-eyed, immediately asking in Korean-accented English if I was the reason her son was smiling again. Mom, Hyunwoo protested, but he was smiling. You are good for him, she declared to me. Come to Seoul. Meet me properly. I'd like that, I said, meaning it. After the call, Hyunwoo was quiet. What are you thinking? I asked. That I want to keep you. Simple.
Direct.
Devastating. That you walked into my life through violence and chaos, and now I can't imagine it without you. We barely know each other. I know you're strong and kind and brave. I know you make me want to be better than what I am. I know that when I look at you, everything else stops mattering. He turned to face me fully. I know it's fast and illogical, and you have every reason to say no, but stay. Stay with me. Not just until Marcus's trial. Stay. My heart hammered. For how long? However long you'll have me. His hand found mine. I'm not asking you to marry me tomorrow. I'm asking you to give us a real chance. Come to Seoul when my business here is finished. Meet my mother. See my life. Decide if you can accept all of it. The dangerous parts too? Especially those. He didn't flinch. I won't lie to you, Helena. My world includes violence and moral ambiguity, but I keep the people I love safe. Always. You love me? I whispered. I'm falling in love with you, he corrected. Fast and hard, and probably foolishly.
But yes.
I kissed him instead of answering with words, pouring every confused emotion into it. When we broke apart, he rested his forehead against mine. Is that a yes? It's an I'm terrified, but I want to try. I'll take it. The next morning, everything changed again. Dae-young burst into the suite at dawn, speaking rapid Korean. Hyunwoo's expression turned to stone.
What?
I demanded, pulling on a robe. What happened? Your children, Hyunwoo said tightly. They've recanted their cooperation. They're now claiming you orchestrated everything, that you manipulated Marcus, planned your own attempted murder to frame him, and are mentally unstable. The floor dropped out from under me. That's insane. Their new lawyer is very expensive. Someone's funding their defense. His jaw clenched. They're coming after you, Helena, trying to paint you as the villain. But the evidence can be twisted with the right narrative. He pulled me close. This is what I do, remember? I know how these games work. They're going to drag you through hell to save themselves. Rage replaced shock, hot and clarifying. Then we drag back. His eyes lit with fierce approval. That's my girl. We spent the day strategizing with his lawyers. Every piece of evidence was reviewed, every angle considered. The case against Marcus was strong, but Brandon and Simone's betrayal was adding complications. They'll have to testify, the lead lawyer explained. If they claim you're unstable, we'll need psychiatric evaluation, character witnesses, proof of your stability. I can provide that, I said firmly. I'm not letting my children destroy me to save themselves. Hyunwoo's hand squeezed mine under the table. That evening, we went to his legitimate office, a sleek space in a downtown high-rise where he ran his legal enterprises. He had meetings, and I sat in his office working with his lawyers on my defense. At some point, a woman entered, beautiful, young, Korean, wearing a dress that cost more than my former car. Hyunwoo, she purred, switching to English when she saw me. I didn't know you were back in Chicago. Jiwon. His tone was polite but cool. I'm in a meeting. Cancel it. We have dinner reservations. She finally looked at me, dismissal clear in her eyes. Who's this? Someone important to me, he said evenly. We'll have to reschedule dinner. Her perfectly made-up face tightened. Reschedule? We had plans. You promised. I promised nothing. His voice hardened slightly. We had a business arrangement that ended months ago. I'm seeing someone now. Ji-won's gaze snapped to me, really seeing me for the first time, taking in my age, my curves, the casual clothes so different from her designer perfection. Her. She laughed incredulously. She's old enough to be. Careful. Hyunwoo interrupted, his voice dropping to something dangerous. Very careful how you finish that sentence. The temperature in the room plummeted. Ji-won's confidence wavered. You're serious about her, she realized. Extremely. She looked between us, then fled with whatever dignity she could salvage. When the door closed, I turned to Hyunwoo. Business arrangement? We dated briefly. It didn't work. He pulled me from my chair into his lap. She wanted my money and status. I wanted.
He paused.
More than she could give. And I give you more? You give me everything. His arms wrapped around me. You're real and honest and strong. You don't care about my money or power. You see me. I see a man who cooks soup and saves strangers and makes me feel beautiful when I thought I'd forgotten how. He kissed me thoroughly, right there in his office, until his assistant knocked to announce his next meeting. Go, I said, laughing. Be a terrifying businessman. Come with me. I want them to see you. So I sat in on his meeting, watching him negotiate a commercial real estate deal with the same cold precision I'd seen him use on my attackers. He was magnificent, intelligent, commanding, absolutely in control. And occasionally, his eyes would find mine across the conference table, and something would soften. One of his associates, a Korean man around Hyunwoo's age, noticed. Boss is different, he murmured to me during a break. Lighter. You're good for him. He's good for me too. Good. He deserves happiness. Works too hard, cares too much about responsibilities, forgets to live. The man grinned. You make him live again. That night, Hyunwoo surprised me by taking me dancing, actual dancing, at an upscale club where apparently he was part owner. We moved together to music that was nothing like Swan Lake, but it didn't matter. His hands on my waist, my body against his, the rest of the world fading away. I could get used to this. I admitted, breathless. Good. He spun me out and back against him. Because I plan on keeping you dancing for the rest of your life. That's a long time. Not long enough. His mouth found my ear. I want decades, Helena. I want to watch you discover yourself again. Build the life you gave up. Become everything you were meant to be. And I want to be there for all of it. My heart stuttered. You barely know me. I know enough. He pulled back to meet my eyes. I know you're brave. You survived an attempted murder and decided to fight back instead of hide. I know you're passionate. The way you dance, the way you kiss me, the way you refuse to let your family destroy you. I know you're kind despite having every reason to be bitter. And I know, his voice dropped lower, intimate despite the crowd, that when I touch you, when I'm inside you, you look at me like I'm the only thing in your universe. That's enough for me to know I want forever. Heat flooded through me. You can't say things like that in public. Why not? It's true. His hands tightened on my hips.
Come on.
We're leaving. We just got here. And now I need to get you alone before I forget we're in public and show everyone here exactly how much I want you. We barely made it back to the suite before his mouth was on mine, urgent and claiming. He pressed me against the closed door, hands already working at my clothes. Bedroom, I gasped. Too far. He lifted me, and I wrapped my legs around him, surrendering to the heat between us. Fade to black. A few days later, I got the call I'd been dreading. My mother, voice shaking. Helena, baby, I saw the news. Brandon and Simone, they're saying terrible things about you. That you're mentally ill, that you made Marcus think you were going to hurt yourself, that. None of it's true, Mom. I gripped Hyunwoo's hand where he sat beside me. They're lying to save themselves. Marcus tried to have me killed for insurance money, and they knew about it. Silence. Then, quietly, your babies aren't babies anymore. Tears stung my eyes. I don't know if they actively helped plan it, but they knew something was wrong, and they didn't protect me. They threw me out of the house knowing I had nowhere to go. Come home, she said immediately. You and your friend, the one you're staying with. Bring him here. Let us meet him properly. I looked at Hyunwoo, who nodded. Okay, I said. We'll come this weekend. My mother exhaled shakily. We love you, baby. We believe you. And anyone who hurts you will answer to your father, even if they came from your own body. That made me smile despite everything. I love you too, Mom. When I hung up, Hyunwoo pulled me into his arms. Your parents sound like good people.
They are.
They're going to love you. I paused. Or be terrified of you. One or the other. Both, probably. He kissed my hair. I'll be on my best behavior. Do you have a best behavior? I can be charming when necessary. You're always charming. That's part of the problem. His chest rumbled with laughter. Problem. You make me forget common sense. I'm supposed to be recovering from trauma and discovering myself, not falling in love with a dangerous man with a criminal empire.
He stilled.
Are you? Falling in love with me? I pulled back to meet his eyes. Terrifyingly so. It's too fast and too intense and probably a terrible idea, but yes. I'm falling in love with you, Kwon Hyunwoo. His smile was devastating. Good. Because I'm already there. I felt a moment I saw you refuse to stay down, refuse to let them break you. You were magnificent, and I was gone. That's insane. Probably. He cupped my face. But I've never been more certain of anything in my life. We spent the next few days preparing for Iowa. Hyunwoo had work to finish, meetings to attend, and I helped where I could, sitting in on negotiations, offering perspective, learning the intricacies of his empire. He was patient explaining things, never condescending, treating my questions with respect. And his people noticed. Dae-young commented that I was good for business, that Hyunwoo's decisions were sharper with me around. You calm him, Dae-young said. Boss is brilliant, but sometimes too aggressive. You make him think before acting. That's rare. I don't do anything special. You exist. For him, that's everything. The drive to Iowa was long but comfortable. Hyunwoo insisted on driving himself, waving off Dae-young's protests. Atlas rode in the back, well-behaved and content. Tell me about your parents, Hyunwoo said as we left Chicago behind. Dad's quiet, strong, protective. He worked construction for 40 years, destroyed his back doing it, but never complained. Mom's a firecracker, tiny woman with enormous personality. They've been married 52 years and still hold hands. That's beautiful. It is. I thought I had that with Marcus. Bitterness crept in. Turns out I was the only one committed to forever. His hand found mine. His loss. My gain. We arrived at my childhood home as the sun was setting. A small house in desperate need of updates, but warm and filled with love. My parents rushed out before we'd fully stopped. Mom looked older than I remembered, worry having aged her. But her hug was fierce and familiar. My baby, she whispered. We've got you. Dad was next, strong arms enveloping me despite his bad back. Anyone who hurts you answers to me, he rumbled. I don't care if they're my grandkids. Then they turned to Hyunwoo, who stood respectfully back with Atlas sitting perfectly at his side. Mr. and Mrs. Hart, he said, his English crisp.
I'm Kwon Hyunwoo.
Thank you for welcoming me into your home. Dad studied him with the assessing gaze of a man who'd worked with all types. You're the one protecting my daughter? Yes, sir. You good to her? I try to be. She deserves nothing less. Mom stepped forward, tilted her head way back to look up at him, and smiled. You're the one making her smile again. I can tell. Come inside, both of you, and bring that gorgeous dog. Dinner was simple but delicious. Mom's famous pot roast, vegetables from the neighbor's garden, homemade bread. Hyunwoo ate enthusiastically, complimenting everything, helping clear dishes without being asked. You cook too, Mom observed. Helena told me. What do you make? Korean food mostly. My mother's recipes. But I'm learning other cuisines. He glanced at me. Helena mentioned wanting to learn to cook Italian. I thought we could learn together.
We.
Dad's eyebrows rose. Yes, sir. If Helena agrees, I'd like her to come to Seoul with me. Meet my mother, see where I'm from, decide if... He paused. If she can accept my life long-term. The room went silent. Long-term. Mom's voice was careful. You've known each other 2 weeks. 16 days. Hyunwoo corrected. And yes, it's fast. But I've never been more certain of anything. Your daughter is remarkable. She's strong and kind and brave, and she makes me want to be better than what I am. What are you? Dad asked bluntly. Helena said you're a businessman, but there's more to it. Hyunwoo didn't flinch. Yes, sir. I have legitimate businesses, real estate, import, export, investments. I also have less legitimate interests that I won't detail in your home. But I give you my word, I would never involve Helena in anything dangerous. I would die before I let harm come to her. You saved her life, Mom said quietly. My dog did. I just arrived in time to finish the job. And you've been protecting her since. Dad leaned forward.
Why?
What do you want from my daughter? Everything.
Simple. Direct.
Her time, her trust, her love if she'll give it. I want to give her the world in return, safety, freedom, the chance to rediscover herself. I want to support her dreams, watch her dance again, make her laugh. I want to wake up beside her for the rest of my life. I couldn't breathe. Neither apparently could my parents. That's quite a speech, Dad finally said. It's the truth. Mom looked at me. Baby, how do you feel about all this? Terrified, I admitted. And happy. He makes me feel alive, Mom. For the first time in decades, I feel seen and valued and wanted. Not as a wife or mother, but as Helena. Just me. Then that's enough for me. Mom reached across the table to squeeze my hand. Then Hyunwoo's. You're welcome in this family, Hyunwoo. Hurt her, and my husband knows how to hide bodies. Dad nodded solemnly. Construction skills are versatile. Hyunwoo's smile was genuine. Understood, sir. That night, Mom put us in separate rooms. My childhood bedroom for me, the guest room for Hyunwoo. But after my parents went to sleep, I crept down the hallway. He was awake, sitting on the narrow guest bed, still fully dressed. His face lit when he saw me.
I whisperat. I.
He stood, pulled me inside, closed the door quietly. Couldn't sleep. Didn't want to. Not alone. I wrapped my arms around him. That thing you said at dinner about wanting everything.
Did you mean it?
Every word. His hands settled on my waist. I know it's fast, Helena. I know you're still processing your divorce and your family's betrayal. But I meant what I said. I want forever with you. I want that too. The admission felt like jumping off a cliff. It's insane and illogical, but I want it. He kissed me, soft and reverent, so different from the hungry kisses in his suite. This was worship and promise and hope. Come to Seoul, he murmured against my lips. Meet my mother. See my world. And if you can accept it, all of it, I'll spend the rest of my life making sure you never regret choosing me. I already don't regret it. Then come anyway. He pulled back to meet my eyes. And when we get back, I'm going to court you properly. Dates and flowers and romance. Everything you deserved the first time and didn't get. You don't have to. I want to. You deserve to be courted. Helena pursued. Claimed properly. His voice dropped. And I want everyone to know you're mine. Heat pooled low in my belly. Possessive. Extremely. No apology in his tone. I don't share well. Good thing I'm not interested in anyone else. His kiss was less reverent this time, more claiming and heated. But he pulled back before things went too far. "Go," he said roughly. "Before I forget your parents are 20 feet away and you deserve better than rushed sex in a childhood bedroom." Spoil sport. "I'll make it up to you when we're back in Chicago." A promise that sent shivers through me. Now go, before I lose what's left of my control. I kissed him once more and fled. The next morning, we had breakfast with my parents, and I watched Hyunwoo charm them effortlessly, helping Mom in the kitchen, discussing construction with Dad, playing fetch with Atlas in the small backyard. "He's good," Mom said quietly, watching through the window. "Different from Marcus. This one sees you." "I know. The age difference doesn't bother you?"
He's 40. I'm 50.
"We're both adults." I shrugged. "It bothers other people more than it bothers us." "Good." She squeezed my shoulder. "Life's too short for other people's opinions. If he makes you happy, that's all that matters." Dad cornered me later. "I like him," he said gruffly. "He's dangerous, but he's dangerous for you, not to you. That's rare." "I know. Marcus was always weak. I tried to tell you, but you are so in love." He shook his head. "This one's strong. He'll protect you. Just be careful with your heart, baby. You've been hurt enough." "I'm trying, Dad, but I think it's too late for careful." His smile was sad and knowing.
Yeah.
"I can see that." We left Iowa the next afternoon, promises to visit again soon, hugs that lasted longer than usual. As we drove away, my mother stood on the porch waving, and I felt the weight of their approval and love. "They liked you," I said. "I liked them." Hyunwoo glanced over. "Your father threatened me very politely while we were in the garage." "Did he?" "Said if I broke your heart, construction accidents happen all the time." His smile was fond. "I respect that. He's a good man protecting his daughter." "What did you say?" "That if I broke your heart, I'd hand him the shovel myself." I laughed despite myself. "You're ridiculous." "I'm serious." He caught my hand, brought it to his lips. "You're precious to me, Helena. The idea of hurting you is unbearable." "Then don't." "I'll try my best." His expression grew serious. "But my world is complicated. There will be danger, people who disapprove, situations that are morally gray. If that's something you can't accept, stop." I squeezed his hand. "I'm not naive, Hyunwoo. I know what you are, and I'm choosing you anyway. All of you." The look he gave me was pure possession and devotion. "Then you're mine. Completely." "Completely," I agreed. We returned to Chicago to news. Marcus's lawyer had filed motions challenging my mental competency. Brandon and Simone had given interviews painting me as unstable, claiming they'd feared for their safety around me. I watched the news segments in Hyunwoo's suite, rage building with each lie. "They're destroying me," I whispered. "They're trying to." He turned off the television, pulled me close. "But we're going to fight back. My lawyers are already filing defamation suits. We'll force them to recant or face consequences. It's not enough. People will always wonder if there's truth to it. Then we give them truth." His eyes glinted. "We show them who you really are. Strong, stable, successful. We show them what they threw away."
How?
"Leave that to me." Over the next week, Hyunwoo orchestrated a campaign that was part legal strategy, part public relations. His lawyers released carefully edited security footage showing the attack, Marcus's hired killers, my evident fear and survival. Character witnesses came forward, neighbors, former co-workers, my parents. Even my old ballet instructor from high school, found by Hyunwoo's team, testified to my childhood dedication and talent. The narrative shifted. Slowly, then rapidly. Brandon and Simone's story fell apart under scrutiny. Their expensive lawyer couldn't explain away the evidence. The life insurance policy, the timing, Marcus's financial troubles, the hired attackers, all pointed to attempted murder, not maternal instability. Public opinion turned. My children went from sympathetic victims to possible accomplices. Marcus's arrest became front-page news. And I became the woman who'd survived her family's betrayal. You did this, I told Hyunwoo one evening, watching yet another news segment vindicate me. We did this. You were brave enough to fight back. I just provided resources. Resources like a full PR firm, multiple lawyers, and private investigators? Minor details. He pulled me into his lap. How do you feel? Vindicated. Angry. I rested my head on his shoulder. They're still my children. Watching them face consequences hurts, even though they deserve it. That's because you're a good person. He stroked my hair. It's okay to grieve who you thought they were while accepting who they actually are. When did you get so wise? I had a good teacher. My mother always said that loving someone doesn't mean excusing their cruelty. You can love the memory of who they were while protecting yourself from who they've become. I like your mother already. She's going to adore you. He tilted my face up. Speaking of which, are you ready for Seoul? I think so. When do we leave? 2 days. That gives the lawyers time to handle the latest motions and gives us time to prepare. Prepare how? His smile turned wicked.
Shopping.
I want to dress you in clothes that make you feel as beautiful as you are. I know you don't need it. I want to give it to you anyway. He silenced my protest with a kiss. Let me spoil you, Helena. Let me show you what it's like to be cherished. How could I argue with that? The next day, Hyunwoo took me to boutiques I'd never dare enter alone, places where everything was beautiful and nothing had price tags. He sat patiently while I tried on dresses, giving his opinion with surprising fashion sense. That one, he said when I emerged in a deep emerald dress that hugged my curves. Definitely that one. It's too expensive. It's perfect. He stood, circled me slowly. You look like a queen. I look like I'm trying too hard. You look confident and stunning. He stopped in front of me. And when we go to dinner in Seoul, when people see you on my arm, I want them to know exactly how lucky I am. The sales associate, bless her, had the grace to look away while Hyunwoo kissed me breathless. We left with more bags than I could carry, dresses, shoes, lingerie that made me blush, casual clothes and fabrics that felt like sin. Hyunwoo carried everything without complaint, Atlas trotting beside us. This is too much, I protested. It's not nearly enough. He loaded everything into the SUV. But it's a start. That night, he cooked again, Korean beef bulgogi with all the accompaniments. We ate on the floor by the windows, watching the city lights, and it felt achingly domestic. I could get used to this, I admitted.
Good.
Because this is what I want. You, me, simple moments together. He refilled my wine. The business, the danger, the complications, they're necessary. But this is what matters. You're a romantic. Only with you. He set down his glass, suddenly serious. Helena, when we get to Seoul, there's something I need to tell you. About my business, about my family, about things I've kept from you, because the timing wasn't right. Dread pooled in my stomach. What things? Nothing that changes how I feel about you. But you deserve full honesty before you decide if you can accept my world long term.
He caught my hand.
Will you hear me out? All of it. Even the ugly parts. Of course. Then I'll tell you in Seoul, where you can meet my mother, see where I come from, understand the full picture before making your choice. What choice? His eyes held mine. Whether to stay with me permanently. Because that's what I'm asking for, Helena. Not a relationship with an expiration date. Forever. My heart hammered. That's a lot. I know. But I told you I want everything. And I want you to want it too, with full knowledge of what you're choosing. What if I can't accept it? Whatever you need to tell me. Pain flickered in his expression. Then I'll let you go. I'll make sure you're safe and cared for, and I'll let you go. Because you deserve happiness, even if it's not with me. I don't want to let you go. Then hopefully you won't have to. He pulled me closer. But I need you to hear the truth first. All of it. We made love that night with new urgency, as if aware this might be complicated soon, as if storing up sensation and connection against potential loss. He was achingly tender, devastatingly thorough, and when we finally collapsed together, I felt tears on my cheeks. "Hey," he whispered, wiping them away. "What's wrong?"
I'm scared.
"Of what you're going to tell me. Of losing this." "You won't lose me unless you choose to." His arms tightened. "Whatever happens, whatever I tell you, know this. I love you, Helena Ward.
Completely.
Irrevocably. And that won't change." "I love you too," I whispered back. His kiss was sweet and desperate. "Then we'll figure out the rest together." The flight to Seoul was comfortable. First class, Atlas in a special cabin, Hyunwoo attentive to my every need. I'd never flown internationally, never left the United States. Everything was new and overwhelming. He held my hand during takeoff, pointed out landmarks as we descended into Incheon, and looked genuinely happy to be home. Seoul was stunning, modern and ancient colliding, mountains and skyscrapers, energy that felt alive. Hyunwoo's apartment was in Gangnam, all glass and luxury and breathtaking views. "Welcome to my world," he said, setting down our bags. Before I could respond, the door burst open and a tiny woman rushed in, speaking rapid Korean. This had to be his mother. Same eyes, same bone structure, same intensity. She stopped when she saw me, and her expression softened into something warm. "So you're Helena," she said in accented English. "My son hasn't stopped talking about you." "Mom," Hyunwoo protested. "It's true." She moved forward, took both my hands.
So.
"Welcome to Korea. Welcome to our family." Tears pricked my eyes at the simple acceptance. "Thank you."
Come, sit.
"I want to hear everything." She pulled me toward the living room, already chattering. "Hyunwoo said you dance?" "I used to dance. We should dance together. And you must try my cooking." He inherited his skills from me, you know. Hyunwoo caught my eye, smiling helplessly, and I fell a little more in love. We spent the afternoon talking. Jisoo asking about my life, my children's betrayal making her furiously maternal, my resilience earning her respect. "You're strong," she declared.
Good.
"My son needs strong. He pretends to be invincible, but he needs someone who sees past that." "I do see past it," I said quietly. "I know. That's why I like you already." Later, after Jisoo left, Hyunwoo made dinner, and we sat on his balcony overlooking the city. "She loves you," he said. "I love her." I leaned against him. "Is this when you tell me the terrible truth about your criminal empire?" His chest rumbled with quiet laughter. "Not quite. Tomorrow I'll show you my work, all of it. The legal businesses, the gray areas, the parts that might make you uncomfortable. Then you can decide if it's something you can live with. And if I can, then I'm going to ask you to marry me. Simple.
Direct.
Devastating. Not today, not tomorrow, but soon. Because I want you as my wife, Helena. I want legal claim to you, permanent ties, everyone knowing you're mine. That's very possessive. I told you, I don't share well." He pulled me into his lap. "And you're the most precious thing in my life. I want you locked down in every possible way. Romantic. Honest." His hands spanned my waist. "So tomorrow, I'll show you everything. And you'll decide if you can accept me, all of me, permanently." What if I already know my answer? His eyes darkened. "What is it?" "Yes." I cupped his face. "To all of it. Your work, your world, your proposal whenever you ask it. Yes. You haven't seen everything yet. I've seen enough. I've seen how you protect people you care about, how you're respected and feared but also kind. I've seen you cook soup and play with your dog and charm my parents. I've seen you love me despite my age and baggage and complicated life. That's enough for me to know I want forever with you. His control cracked. He kissed me hard, then stood with me in his arms and carried me inside. Where are we going? Bedroom. I'm going to make love to my future wife until she understands exactly how much I worship her. We haven't had dinner. Fuck dinner. He kicked the bedroom door closed. I need you now. The next day, he showed me his empire. We started with the legitimate businesses, real estate holdings, import-export company, investment firm. Everything legal and above board. Then the gray areas, businesses that skirted legality, that existed in spaces Korean law hadn't quite defined. Gambling, high-end escort services, though he insisted his company treated workers well, luxury goods that avoided certain taxes. Finally, the clearly illegal protection rackets for businesses that wanted it, enforcement services, strategic consulting for people who operated outside the law. I don't hurt innocents, he said as we sat in his office. I don't traffic people or drugs. I don't target the vulnerable. But I do use violence when necessary, and I do operate outside legal boundaries. This is who I am, Helena. This is what you'd be accepting. I thought about it carefully. Do you enjoy the violence? No. But I'm good at it, and sometimes it's necessary to protect what's mine. Do you ever hurt people who don't deserve it? No. My targets are always people who've earned consequences through their own actions. And if I asked you to stop? To go completely legitimate. He met my eyes. I'd try. It would take time, years, maybe, to extricate myself from certain obligations. But I'd try if you asked. I'm not asking. I stood, moved around the desk to him. I'm asking if you'll keep me separate from the dangerous parts. If you'll protect me and any life we build together. His hands caught my waist. With everything I am. Then I can accept it. I don't love it, but I love you more. His kiss was reverent and desperate. You're sure? Helena, once you're in, you're in. My enemies might target you to get to me. There's real risk. There was real risk staying in my marriage, and that almost killed me. At least with you, the danger comes with love and protection and someone who actually values my life. I value it more than my own. Then we're even. Because I feel the same. He pulled me into his lap, held me close. I'm going to marry you. Soon. I'll do it properly, ring, proposal, romance. But know that in my heart, you're already mine. Completely. Good. Because you're mine too. We spent the next week in Seoul, meeting his friends, seeing the city, integrating into his life. His associates treated me with respect that bordered on reverence, clearly noting how Hyunwoo changed around me. Boss is different, one said over drinks. Happy. We've never seen him happy. He makes me happy too, I admitted. Good. He deserves it. Works too much, carries too much responsibility. You make him remember there's more to life. Jisoo invited us for dinner at her home, a beautiful traditional house filled with family photos and warmth. She cooked an enormous meal and told me stories about young Hyunwoo that made him groan. He was such a serious child, she said fondly. Always protecting others, always carrying the world. He needed someone to make him laugh. She smiled at me. You do that. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for him too. He saved my life in more ways than one. Then you saved each other. That's how the best relationships work. After dinner, Hyunwoo took me to the garden, pulled me close under the stars. I meant to wait longer, he said quietly. But I can't. I need to ask now. He dropped to one knee, produced a ring that glittered in the moonlight, emeralds surrounded by diamonds, stunning and perfect. Helena Hart, soon-to-be former ward, will you marry me? Will you be my wife, my partner, my everything? Will you let me spend the rest of my life showing you what real love looks like? Tears streamed down my face. Yes. God, yes. He slipped the ring on my finger, stood, and kissed me like I was his salvation. I love you, he whispered. Forever. Forever, I agreed. 3 months later. The trial ended with Marcus sentenced to 35 years for attempted murder for hire. Brandon and Simone received lighter sentences, 5 years each, after their lawyers successfully argued they'd been manipulated. I didn't attend sentencing. Didn't want to see their faces. But I watched the news from Seoul, safe in Hyunwoo's arms, and felt only relief that it was over. Are you okay? He asked. I am. And I meant it. They're not my family anymore. You are. He kissed my temple. Always. We married in a small ceremony 2 weeks later. My parents flew to Seoul. Jisoo cried through the entire thing, and Atlas wore a bow tie. It was perfect. Our honeymoon was 3 weeks in Bali, sun and sea, and making love like newlyweds, talking about our future, planning the life we'd build together. I started taking ballet classes again, my body remembering despite the years. Hyunwoo came to watch sometimes, and the way he looked at me made me feel 20 again. We talked about splitting time between Seoul and Chicago, about me learning Korean, about the future. What do you want? He asked one evening on the beach. Truly? If you could have anything. This, I said simply. You, me, time together. Maybe traveling. Maybe helping your mother with her charity work. Maybe teaching dance to kids who need it. I don't need grand dreams anymore. I just need this. You have it. Forever. 1 year later. I stared at the positive pregnancy test in disbelief. Helena. Hyunwoo called from the bedroom. Everything okay? I walked out, held up the test. Define okay. He looked, and his expression went through shock, joy, wonder. You're pregnant. I'm 51. This shouldn't be possible. But it is. He crossed to me, dropped to his knees, pressed his face to my stomach. You're giving me a family. Tears pricked my eyes. Are you happy? He looked up, and his smile was radiant. I'm beyond happy. I'm blessed. The pregnancy was carefully monitored, high risk because of my age, but healthy. Jisoo was over the moon, already buying baby clothes. My parents cried happy tears over video call. And Hyunwoo was unbearably attentive, hovering, protective, making sure I wanted for nothing. I already raised 2 kids, I reminded him. I know what I'm doing. But those kids were ungrateful. This one will be perfect because we're raising them together. He was right. Our daughter was born healthy and beautiful, with her father's dark eyes and my stubborn chin. We named her Jihye, wisdom of the sea, and she was everything. Hyunwoo cried when he held her for the first time, and I fell in love with him all over again watching him become a father. Thank you, he whispered that night, our daughter sleeping between us. For giving me this. For choosing me. For making my life complete. Thank you for saving me, I whispered back. For showing me what love actually looks like. For giving me a second chance at happiness. First chance, he corrected. What you had before wasn't love. This is love. This is real. This is forever, I agreed. He kissed me over our daughter's sleeping form, and I knew he was right. This was my real life beginning. Not ending at 50 with betrayal and attempted murder, but starting with salvation and devotion and a love that defied logic. I'd been thrown out of my house on Christmas by people I thought loved me. But a Korean man and his dog had saved me, given me purpose, shown me I was worth everything. And now I had forever with him a husband who worshipped me, a daughter who made us complete, and a love that had conquered trauma and danger and fear. Life didn't end when you thought it would. Sometimes, if you were lucky, it began again. And I was the luckiest woman alive. The end. Thank you for reading, ladies. If you loved Helena and Hyunwoo's story, please like, share, subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you want more stories like this. See you in the next one.